It's time, ladies and gents, about to spit about some film reels. Copping the field to seal the deal of what the films reveal. Batman, Superman, even Spider-Man compare to fare against each other, tearing apart the plots that they prepare. But these are just a few examples for the task at hand. On demand with cinematic contraband to shock the fans. To preach the theme, title, film, eat film. Tis the keen regime for cinema guillotines to rock my rhyme kiln.
Right. We're recording. Hello! This is The Real Frame of Mind presents... I already forgot the name. Filmy Film. Got it. Remembered
He's joking.
Yeah.
A+.
Obviously, I'm not the regular judge. I am Damon Big DZ / Deezus. It's my new one, Deezus.
Follow him on Twitter.
Follow me on Twitter. At Deezus. Yeah, no, it's not even at Deezus. I think it's still at Big DZ, but my actual handle is Deezus. Anyway, I am here with Blake. Why was Anthony Hopkins, Catherine Zeta-Jones' mother, and Zorno?
Yes.
Long, but excellent.
Yeah, thank you. And Scott, Basement Freezer Nemi. This is a play on Icebox. Get it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
You call me a girl.
I'm just going to leave now.
You can call me girl fullback, too.
I don't... Why?
From Little Giants.
Okay.
Icebox is the girl.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
She plays in the iPhone.
Dude, Little Giants.
She's a sick
VHS.
blocker.
All right.
VHS.
So this is...
Fuck, dude, it's right there.
This is your last semifinal matchup.
Awesome.
Whoever wins this goes up against Trace.
Couch.
Cheated.
She is.
Acted.
He Tom Brady the shit out of the last
definitely
match.
not. I'm definitely not bitter.
Hey, can I just say, no matter what happens here, Blake and I vow to pull a Willem Dafoe in Spider-Man, 2? Avenge me! No!
All right.
Can we also get killed by a glider?
Yes,
because
you can.
that has been
You can definitely do
number
that.
3 or 4 on my bucket list.
Don't tell Harry.
Don't tell Harry. That's such a good.
Casually dies immediately.
Appleton, hey, rep in Appleton, Wisconsin,
Yeah,
right?
He just hates it with all of his heart.
What is it about this
Whatever.
place, you know?
It must have been worse in the 70s or whatever the fuck he grew up.
You just never can match up to Harry Houdini. And
That's
really
true.
where it
Yeah.
fell
He
off.
really just wanted to be the best. And he just couldn't do it.
Give
Even
it.
though Harry Houdini lived here for like 5 years?
Doesn't matter.
All right. So our topics today, now that we're done with that, we have underrated 90s film, which Blake is... What was your movie?
My movie?
Yes.
The movie I picked. In the Line of Fire.
Whoa, I didn't have that. I thought you had Courage Under Fire. I'm just kidding. I'm fucking with you.
I was pretty sure you told me in the line
I'm
of fire.
kidding.
Oh boy.
And then we have Scott's is Miller's Crossing, I believe.
Miller's Crossing.
Miller's Crossing. We have our second category is better comedy. And we have...
A matchup of Mel Brooks.
Yep,
Mel Brooks matchup. We'll start with Scott's because I can remember it. It's Young Frankenstein.
Yep.
And
I'm
there
repping
was a
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. That's right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
That's going to be a good one.
And then for the final argument, the coup de grace is best Adam Sandler movie. So that's a thing.
Titans.
We have Blake's is The Wedding Singer,
Oh, yeah.
and Scott's is Punch Drunk Love.
Nobody.
They're both wrong. It's clearly Happy Gilmore. All right, so to start
That's
it
a
off.
cult classic. That was...
All right.
Just a lot of blatant Subway ads and Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do it for me.
When they blank it out on TV.
A cold cut combo. He says it's so weird. I don't know why. Okay. That's what I call a hole in one. What the fuck, dude? Anyway, underrated 90s film. We're starting with Blake since he lost the coin toss to Scott.
I didn't lose. I just chose not to win.
Yeah, that's literally the same thing.
Okay.
So, whenever you want to start your timer, since you're timing yourself
I'm
now.
going to time myself. And I
Yeah.
want to know this is not like Canadian time. This is real American
Okay, yeah.
time.
Duh.
Real American
Central
seconds.
Central American
Correct.
time.
American seconds.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we're going to do this. All right.
Good.
Let me know when I can hit start.
I don't care. You're
Okay.
the one arguing.
Sure. I'm going to hit start very soon.
Like, do it whenever you want to.
start.
Just start talking.
Now. Okay. So my underrated 90s film. is what, if for all intents and purpose, should have been something that hasn't been thrown by the wayside, which is a very good back and forth kind of cat and mouse thriller, which is In the Line of Fire, featuring John Malkovich and Clint Eastwood. I guess first I'll address why I think it is underrated. It has decent Rotten Tomato score, a fairly low IMDb score, and box office wise when it came out, it did well. But it is overshadowed, I think, because the 90s was a time where when that movie came out, it competed, Clint Eastwood's other films competed with it, as well as in that same exact year, another great cat and mouse movie came out called The Fugitive, and it just kind of got lost. So, and really my big thing here is I don't understand why the film isn't regarded as, at least if nothing else, a very good exchange between two iconic actors. Clint Eastwood playing himself as always, that's what he would do if there was no film. He'd just kill bad guys and hate black people, most likely. John Malkovich actually did get put up for a supporting Academy Award nomination, but didn't win because he lost to Tommy Lee Jones from The Fugitive. So another reason why it gets overshadowed. I think for me, and like I said, its main defining feature is that there are so many great scenes in this movie, and Malkovich definitely shines through. He's got, in particular, I can think of two scenes that are just, very kind of chilling, sadistic, his kind of character, really. There's a scene where he's talking with the hunter. The hunter wants to check out his weapon he's going to assassinate the president with, and he shoots a duck with it, and Malkovich is like, "Why'd you kill that duck, asshole?" And then he kills the hunter and his friend nonchalant, doesn't care, and just walks away. He kills several civilians in the movie for no reason. And it kind of really sets it up as he is just a badass villain. And as the old saying goes, a hero or, a movie with a hero and a villain, it can only be as good as the villain. The hero will never shine through if he doesn't have an equally good opposing bad force to go up against. And in a lot of ways, this movie does a great job setting up that dynamic, and lost in all that between those two is also what, is set up to be as kind of an interesting backstory. You have Clint Eastwood being the only surviving member of the Secret Service to be still active. That was on the John F. Kennedy assassination day. And it just sets it up for a really good back and forth, just a collective 90s thriller, cat and mouse, and I think it should have did a lot better than it has, and I wish people would remember it.
All right.
Wow, that is annoying.
I like it. Keep it. And whenever you reset, it's Dad's turn with Miller's Crossing.
I'm ready. October 1990. I'm not even going to tell you who it was written by or directed by, but this is a crime drama thriller. It was kicking off the decade, boasting a 7.9% IMDb, 91% Rotten Tomatoes, 3 out of 4 Roger Ebert. Now, you're probably all thinking, listening to me, what the hell is he doing, bragging about all the great ratings if this film has, when I'm trying to argue the fact that it's underrated. Well, here's why. Although this film has numerous positive ratings, it's lost in the scheme of the 90s films, Oscar-snubbed films, and my cherry on top, which is actually a question, for the viewers and everybody else in this room. Do you know the directors of this film? Or I should say director, because one was not credited. It is, in fact, the Coen brothers. This film is so underrated, most people don't even know this film is a Coen's film. It's not only underrated in the grand scheme of films, obviously it's underrated in 90s films, but again, even Coen brothers film. It's a grand master period piece that holds true the Coen style visually and also through its dialogue. A lot of the times you have people boasting about dialogue from, I don't know, Kevin Smith or Tarantino, but the Coens actually are quite up that ladder when it comes to actual dialogue. It was a gangster film before the mass audiences witnessed Hatfields and McCoys, Public Enemies, The Departed, Gangster Squad, Lawless, and many, many more. Even L.A. Confidential takes stuff from Miller's Crossing, which was my film in the 90s that overshadowed Miller's Crossing because it was more of a stylish noir feel to the gangster sort of aspect, and it actually looked at it from a cop's point of view. Even after all of no Oscar noms whatsoever, but it does have 7 noms from around the country and 3 wins. These range from screenplay, best picture, best supporting actor, and even casting. And even after all of these accolades, this film is still forgotten. But I swear to you, once people delve into this world, they will hunt this down for their own collections, talk it up, and suggest it for others to watch. This film pays homage to old school gangster films with new school styles and badass characters perfectly directed around this gangster underworld where anyone is vulnerable. This is not a good versus evil. This is everybody is a pile of shit, sort of like The Departed, and you have to pick your sides on who you like and who you don't like. Not only that, but this film actually makes you think outside of just Clint Eastwood shooting it up. And it makes you think about what the relationship between everyone's hats have to do with the actual feel of this film. 2 seconds left, so I'm going to stop.
Awesome.
Woo!
Buzzer.
Whoa. Loud shit going on outside.
Someone walked in.
Hey, it's the cheater himself.
Did that click in? Did that door click?
Yeah, I'll double check, but I'm pretty confident.
She.
Trace Passion is here to ruin everything for everyone.
He has entered the building.
He'll probably just take over because that's what
It's like
he
that
does.
WWE when
Son of
someone
a bitch.
there's 2 going at it for like a title fight and one runs in and ruins it.
Yep, that's
That's
Trace.
Trace.
That's Trace right there.
Honor.
He's coming to watch who he might be facing or who he's going to be
Taking some
facing
notes.
in the
He's
next round.
scouting. He's cheating.
Before I attack him during the finals with a chair.
Cage.
All right, so Blake,
Water.
for my rebuttal time.
your rebuttal whenever you are ready.
Alrighty. So, I'll start with a quick jab at Miller's Crossing being a Coen Brother movie, and that is for the latter part of the 90s, even now that they're established as great writers and directors. Most of their films in the 90s kind of came out after the fact that they were good. Even look at Fargo, which was another 90s film that, still people don't really know that much about Fargo until, they put a TV show on FX about it. And that film is actually put into, like, the American vault as, like, a film classic. So, my film, I once again argue back to it that, yes, it was overshadowed, but you look at the cast of my film being that it is Clint Eastwood in a vintage role. It is Malkovich in a vintage role. And, why isn't it ever put up there with other movies, of the same caliber? And, now I gotta go someplace else. Oh, no. I lost my train of thought.
Keep talking. Just keep talking. Oh, no.
No, I totally fell off a cliff here. I honestly, I can't think of what I was going to say next, and I have 50 seconds left here.
Use it.
Use it.
Keep talking about how Miller's Crossing sucks.
Talk about Eastwood.
Miller's Crossing, I talked about Eastwood a lot.
or.
I'm just going to have to swing it. I seriously can't remember where I was going with it, so I'll stop myself early.
All right.
I'd rather not just waste your time and spit off garbage, so.
It is what it is. Scott, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready actually right now.
Go ahead.
So I don't want to be outperformed in how you talked about actual specific scenes, but Barry Sonnenfeld, a director that I think we all know and love from Men in Black, was actually the cinematographer on this film. And the scenes that he got in the woods, in the pine woods, are absolutely phenomenal. The way he uses light, the way he uses wide lenses because he wants you to see all the color, but not just the wide lenses because it's more cartoonish like in Raising Arizona. What he gets you to see is more of specifics. He uses those long lenses when he needs to use them. In the case of one of the characters begging for his life, a guy that's supposed to be really high up and really this really hard ass, and he's begging for his life like a wimp, and he uses that gratefully. You remember that performance. But I just want to take down In the Line of Fire. Look, Wolfgang Peterson better works. in the 90s, 1997 Air Force One, Outbreak 1995. Also, I think Outbreak is underrated. Clint Eastwood, Better Works, True Crime 1999, White Hunter, Black Heart 1990, The Bridge of Madison County 1995, Absolute Power 1997, which is basically in The Line of Fire. What do these all film have in common? They are better than The Line of Fire, something needed for an underrated film, yet all forgotten as well, the other side to an underrated film. And I'm just going to go flat out and say it. Rene Russo just hurts the film in general. This film is said to be underrated, but yet has 3 prominent Oscar noms, something that Damon used against yours truly in one of his arguments. Actor in supporting role, best writing, best editing. Aside from the awards, Clint Eastwood fans have at least heard of In the Line of Fire compared to the Coen Brothers fans that haven't even heard of Miller's Crossing. When they're taking down lists, it's usually, and I would even put... Bodge.
You can finish your sentence.
That's okay. I'll fucking stop.
You didn't need to.
I conceded victory.
Yeah, unfortunately with Blake stopping his rebuttal pretty early, Scott ran away with it a little bit. So that obviously goes to Scott being the winner of the first fight. So second is the better comedy, which was Scott's is Young Frankenstein versus Spaceballs.
Yep.
So Mel Brooks-a-thon. We could have just called this best Mel Brooks movie. It would have been the same fucking thing.
Yes.
But Scott, whenever you are ready, you can start.
I'm ready right now.
Alrighty.
Young Frankenstein, 1974, Mel Brooks, screenplay, Brooks and Wilder. 8.1, IMDb, 93%, Rotten Tomatoes, 93% audience score. Oscar noms for screenplay and sound. Golden Globe noms for Cloris Leachman and Madeline Kahn. 1 Golden Scrolls for supporting actor, Marty Feldman. Best director, best makeup, best set decoration. Countless other awards and noms. The satire of this comedy is great because it pays homage to the 1930s monster films. It even uses the original Frankenstein set props. And here's the biggest thing that Young Frankenstein has going for it. It has a secret weapon. That's Gene Wilder. You have other secret weapons as well. Gene Hackman is in this. And Gene Hackman, not known as a comedy guy, was a tennis buddy with Gene Wilder, asked him what he was working on. He said, Young Frankenstein. He said, I want to do comedy. He gets in there and absolutely knocks the role of the blind man playing off the Frankenstein monster so well, where he's pouring soup on him, lighting his finger on fire, breaking his glass as a toast, and it is so hilarious. Peter Boyle, again, in that scene and throughout the entire film, is absolutely hilarious as the Frankenstein monster. Cloris Leachman's hilarious. Marty Feldman, I mean, come on, the guy just looks hilarious. The joke count was 5 jokes per page, and these jokes still hit. The range of jokes in this film is what helps keeps it hilarious and inspirational to up-and-coming comics. In fact, a lot of comics today cite this film as the inspiration for their work, including Adam Sandler. It plays in Big Daddy when they're actually doing some sort of montage scene. But hilarious points. Putting on the Ritz is absolutely a hilarious scene that wanted to be... Mel Brooks wanted to remove it, and Wilder fought for it, and it actually absolutely hits. Sexual jokes. They're all over the place, and it's still hilarious. They have Knock on the Police with the head guy, the head sheriff, or whatever the hell, constable, who is just a knothead. Gene Hackman scene, like I said already, and the fact that they play on Mary Shelley's original story. The horses that neigh every time he says Cloris Leachman's name. The Ovaltine scene, no thank you, good night. The intro to the film, how it plays between decades, 70s in the beginning, and how does it just randomly switch back to some gothic age the rest of the film. The women are hilarious. It's rated inside or just outside of the top 10 best comedies of all time. You can go to Walmart and you can pick up a collection of Mel Brooks films. One film that will not be in that is Spaceballs. I don't know what else to say except for the fact that it plays so well. And good comedy, good satire either plays to it or makes fun of it all together, and this actually does both.
Perfect.
You're a piece of shit. I told you that yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I'm always taking notes.
Alrighty.
Go ahead.
Ready for my starting argument. Alrighty. So, while I can't defend my movie as a downright better film than Young Frankenstein, as I do think it is superior in how it is put together, I will argue until the bitter end that Spaceballs is just flat out funnier. In my opinion, this movie is so quotable that having not watched it for must be 7 or 8 years, I have scenes running through my head constantly, whether it's a bad day or something reminds me, but it comes back to the one black stormtrooper or parody of stormtrooper, and he's got a desert. They're in the desert. He's got a big pick, and he's like, "Have you found anything?" As they're literally combing the desert with giant ace combs, and of course he gets the afro pick. "We ain't found shit," he replies, and it's such a funny movie, and it does unique humor. There's fourth wall breaks, several of them. I really enjoy that smartly written scene where they're going back and forth watching Spaceballs, the movie, and they're like, "When is this? This is now. I want to go back then." You can't because it's now, and just hilariously written. And then, yes, it is probably more a true parody than Young Frankenstein, but like Young Frankenstein, it parodies an entire genre, and one thing that it really does have going for it is that the movies that it does so well, playing off of, are still very popular and have all been rebooted or rerunning. There's new Star Wars, there's new Star Treks. I mean, Aliens even has an up-and-coming film after Prometheus. And all in all, it's just joke after joke after joke. And I can't really speak so much. I guess I'll say this. Every character in there is influenced by some character in a Star Wars film, so that's kind of its main play. But they're not just lazy rip-offs. They have, kind of their unique tendencies. And then on top of that, you get kind of a really good who's who of 80s and 90s comedy. You've got Rick Moranis as Darth Helmet. You've got John Candy as Barf, who is just a great play on Chewbacca. And then you have Bill Pullman, who, in his own right, can be good in comedies the few times he's tried to do them. And I think it is there that the movie really pulls on its main strengths, which that the characters themselves are just really well done, and they do seem to have a lot of good chemistry. I enjoy very much so the scene where they're rescuing, the made-up version of Princess Leia, and, they're pulling her crap through the desert, and she's like, got all these bags, and Bill Pullman's like, "Okay, what the hell is in this thing?" And he pops it open. "It's my industrial strength hairdryer, and I can't live without it. Bring only what you need to survive," and throws the damn thing in the ground. And it's just like that. There's so many scenes that I can go through in my head, and with pretty darn good accuracy for not having seen it in 8 years, and I remember it. And that's because, in my opinion, it is just funnier. So I don't really give a crap if it's not in the 10 movie collection, because it should have its own movie.
Ooh. Strong finish. Scott, Icebox.
Yep.
Your rebuttal, please.
I'm ready. Yeah, so I'm going to play again on the ratings. I'm not afraid to do it. Spaceballs, measly 7.1 IMDb. That's over 70,000 votes. That's not just people who are just critics like Rotten Tomatoes. That's like average people going out there watching this film and rating it. 54% on Rotten Tomatoes. Then you get a little bit of the highbrow, high-nose kind of people. And there it has an 83% audience score. That's good. But here's what I'm saying. That's coming from a younger audience of comedic film fans. Whereas you have this film, Young Frankenstein, in 1974. A lot of people don't really have that sort of the means or the ways to see a film from 74. Maybe they haven't... Maybe someone who only recently just told them about Spaceballs. I don't know. But Spaceballs is deemed as a lesser comedy in Mel Brooks' career, whereas Young Frankenstein is always fighting 1 to 2 with Blazing Saddles is Mel Brooks' best work. 99 out of 100 lists always have Young Frankenstein ahead of Spaceballs. Roger Ebert said Spaceballs felt like a revival. I'm paraphrasing, of course. It was too soon. Had it been a little bit later, maybe it could have been better, but, compare that to Young Frankenstein, which got 4 stars from Ebert and is a well-done satire. This film is endlessly rewatchable. You want black jokes? Check out Blazing Saddles. They have better black jokes than the one that they use in Spaceballs. You want fourth wall breaking? Why don't you go back to 1974 when Peter Boyle is the Frankenstein monster and breaks the fourth wall in the Gene Hackman scene. You have it all there. It's all there. He's reusing his stuff from his comedies that have hit. and that don't really hit because it's not in the right period of time. Look, there's a re-release coming to theaters of Young Frankenstein in 2016. This isn't just saying that everybody else likes it. It's the fact that it's revered from around the world as one of the best.
Strong rebuttal.
It was. Let's see if you can keep up.
We'll see. Rattled. Alrighty. So, back to my original argument. I'm not arguing that this movie is better. I am arguing that it is funnier, and I think if people give it a chance and watch the damn thing, they'll find out. And I also want to play into my old argument that because a lot of the films this movie plays off are now back in theaters, I think that younger audiences can go back to this film. Because, every single dad that's going to take their kid to go watch The Force Awakens, and that kid's going to go ham for it most likely, they're going to show him the original trilogies, and maybe when he's a little older and can appreciate some funny jokes, they can watch Spaceballs with dad. I'm going to show my kids Spaceballs because it's really funny. Yes, it can be campy at times. Yes, there can be some less than off-color humor. But I think the main thing for me is that everybody in this film contributes solely to it. You don't have one guy pulling all the screen time like Gene Wilder, and it's not just a one-man show. Mel Brooks himself actually turns in a really good performance in this movie as President Scrooge, or Scrooge, something like that. And has a really good scene where, they're talking about the combination to the atmosphere around the planet they're stealing the atmosphere from. And, he's like, the combination's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And he's like, well, that's the combination Eddie puts on his luggage. And he goes, that's my combination. So there's just a lot of really good jokes, and they come fast and hard. And it's a movie that you can watch, and you will miss stuff if you've never seen it before. So once again, argument not based solely at all that it is a better film, but that it is just funnier. And I think that the fact that Rick Moranis no longer does films, so this is going to be one of the last movies you'll probably ever get to watch with him in it. And John Candy himself has passed away at a younger age, so that's going to be one of his works that gets kind of put out there as if you want to watch something truly funny with him in it. And, even the ending is great, as, the whole movie is not referenced aliens whatsoever, and an alien jumps out of a guy's chest and starts singing show tunes, and they yell, "Check, please." And just really enjoyed the entire movie.
All right. That was really good from both of you. I actually have it as a tie right now.
You can't have a tie in the middle.
I did. Hand me the cards.
Fight. This
We'll
is
do this.
like 4th and 1 for me.
It is. This is to keep Blake alive in this fight. All right. So, hands ready. At the knees. The knees.
My knee. Can
All
your
right.
knee be right here?
And wait until I'm done. We're not having another Trey situation where he goes early. All right? So, the quote is, either get busy living or get busy dying.
It's The Shawshank Redemption.
It is the Shawshank Redemption.
Then now the third match is just for not to get
Just for
defeated.
fun. So Scott Nemi has advanced into the finals, but we still have one argument to go, and it's a very important one.
It is not.
It's not really. We are at the best Adam Sandler portion of this fight.
Yes, we are.
All right, and going first in this one is Blake Zono.
Alrighty. So now I'm just fighting not to get defeated. Go 0 for 3. I can't say I've ever necessarily thought of Adam Sandler as a fantastic actor, but as he's aged, I believe that's become more true. You go back to kind of his roots coming out of Saturday Night Live, and yeah, he did in the kind of late 80s and through the 90s hemisphere, he managed to pump out some endearing classic comedies, I guess you call them. Neither of us have picked the obvious choices of Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison because they're too easy to argue. I don't know. So I picked The Wedding Singer because I truly like it, and amongst his comedies, it shares unique features that I think besides 8 Crazy Nights, you don't really see a lot, and that is his sense of musical comedy. And it does pop up from time to time, like I said, in 8 Crazy Nights, but this movie's kind of centered around him being the singer The Wedding Singer, hence the title of the movie. This movie also, you get to see kind of the formation of one of his better chemistries throughout his career, which is with Drew Barrymore. They, do a good job playing off each other. And, back to the musical comedy thing, one thing I always really enjoyed about Adam Sandler before he started doing a lot of movies was he did have a lot of very vulgar but good songs. Piece of Shit Car is one that is still played from time to time, but very edited on the radio. And in this movie, he has 2 songs that are quite good. And one of them actually does hold some value to me personally, because the song he sings at the end of the movie to Drew Barrymore as Billy Idol introduces him is a song that I have sang to my wife, which is "I'll make you smile whenever you're sad." That's the first line. And then in the middle of the movie, you also get like a really good mashup where he starts singing a sweet, soft song to his ex, and then it turns into him screaming, talking about putting a bullet in his head. And I think it is just kind of where Adam Sandler should have stayed, and he did well after that. But in this film, you kind of get the best of his talents put together, and like I said, I think that's very inclusive on his ability to do good original music songs and things like that in this. There's also, as always, like the slew of extra actors that pop up in his movies. Like Steve Buscemi has a really funny little quippet where he's all drunk at a wedding, comes smashing through and grabs the mic and just starts confessing all of his darkest secrets to everybody. And yeah, I'll actually stop my argument there because I gotta save some for the rebuttal.
All right, go ahead and reset it. And Scott, go ahead.
All right. I got Punch Drunk Love, 2002, Paul Thomas Anderson. Wonderful blend of comedy, drama, romance, showing us a different side of Adam Sandler. Shocked as... I mean, we obviously didn't see anything like this coming because we were such big Adam Sandler fans at the time of 2002 or even before. And to see him in a film that wasn't accessible to us because we were underage, we couldn't get into the theater in a rated R film, was something new and unique. The film showcases Sandler's range from dark comedy and humor to severe anger to awkward speaker to badass that is willing to do anything for love. It doesn't boast the highest of ratings. 7.3 IMDb, 78 Metacritic, 79% Rotten Tomatoes, 77% audience score. But it does boast a 3.5 out of 4 on Roger Ebert. But I think Paul Thomas Anderson is smart enough as a director to keep Sandler in a role that often has him using his funny personality. In a couple of instances, you see that he is he's trying to save up to fly free by buying a bunch of pudding cups. And I just think the way he plays off, and the supporting cast also plays off Sandler, is amazing. With Emily Watson, Luis Guzman as his his right hand man, and the wonderful Philip Seymour Hoffman, who is the phone sex, I guess, pimp, if you will, that's searching for the money that he's supposedly owed this phone sex girl. The film marks the highest honor that Adam Sandler has been nominated for in his film career. He got nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Actor. This film as a whole also received high praise and nominations/wins for editing, screenplay, and won Best Director at Cannes Film Festival. A really high prestigious award, and Cannes is one of those film festivals that a lot of us in the States here, we don't know a lot of foreign film festivals, but Cannes is one that we can obviously go to fairly easily and use that in an argument in Film Eat Film to get the win. But anyways, I think that Punch Drunk Love obviously it's such a small scope of this guy's business that he has compared to this phone sex guy who lives in a different state, but it still seems all so tight knit and insecure, and it's a really kind of easy film to pop in and watch because you get the funny aspects, you get the serious stuff, which a lot of comedic actors are hailed of doing is good serious work as well, and you got to see it. It's good.
All right.
That's
Blake,
Are we going to announce our new guest?
No.
Awesome. Right on. Alrighty. So, my rebuttal will come down to this defining aspect. In 100 years from now, when Adam Sandler is more than likely gone unless he is frozen cryogenically.
So, God, not.
I guess if you wanted to teach the world about Adam Sandler with one film, I would still pick The Wedding Singer. And I think that earlier in his career, he kind of played a lot of the same, like a slacker, a loser, somebody who doesn't fit in. And the movie is about him kind of finding his role and being like, I can still be a slacker and a loser, and people will like me. And it's just the natural progression of things. This movie is, at its core, a very kind of simple movie. You have a guy and a girl that don't get along and end up breaking apart, and then a new girl who is unobtainable but unloved by her current interest. And then it's the classic, stop them from getting married at the altar and fly away in a beautiful jet plane with Billy Idol. Pretty classic. It's in every storybook, let's be honest. The main reason that I would pick this movie is because it does boast so well what he did to make him famous earlier in his career, which was put out engaging comedies. It's a romantic comedy, something he's done a few times. Although in times, much like other counterparts like Jim Carrey, they put out serious work. I don't think it hits for me the same because I think of him as more of a true comedic actor. I don't think Adam Sandler necessarily has that range, and as he's gotten older, he has become very, very lazy in continuing to do movies that, maybe if he had made them, maybe if he would have made Grown Ups when he was a kid with a bunch of younger, all the useless people that are totally not important, so I'm not going to name any of them. Chris Rock is in it. There we go. If he would have made those movies when he was younger, could they have been good? Sure, but because things like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and The Wedding Singer came out early in his career after Saturday Night Live success, I think that they better demonstrate why he is a funny actor.
Scott, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. I don't think it's just a Sandler film. You can't just file, Punch Drunk Love as just a Sandler film. I think you also can do it for a P.T. Anderson film because of all the accolades and awards. A Philip Seymour Hoffman. I mean, people still go back to The Big Lebowski and Philip Seymour Hoffman's performance in that film. So, we're talking best Adam Sandler film as a whole, not just his performance. So I think you have all of these extra names that go with it that actually put in pretty good work. But Punch Drunk Love does indeed show his range, otherwise he wouldn't be nominated for that Golden Globe, which I feel, and I think a lot of people do feel, is more of an honest award to give to an actor because you have a little bit more room to give it to comedy and musical and then drama as well. So you can give more than just one award, and I think that's where you see the true the acting accolades come from, is the Golden Globes. But he just likes doing films with his buddies now, and he's just doing it for paydays. That's what he's doing. He doesn't care anymore. But I'm just going to go and hit on The Wedding Singer. It's a stereotypical rom-com in a nutshell. The film boasts a very weak, poorly written villain in Glenn. Like, why the hell would he want to marry when he gets hotter and younger tail every night, so he claims. And he sells junk bonds, or whatever the hell it is. The directing is straightforward, classic Sandler film style, and there's nothing memorable about the style that The Wedding Singer was shot in. The Wedding Singer ranks lower in every rating aspect than Punch Drunk Love. And I'm going to argue that the only reason this film is remembered today is because this was right in the wheelhouse of Adam Sandler's uprising in films. Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison prior, of The Waterboy, Big Daddy, Mr. Deeds to follow. So you put this smack dab in the middle, that's what you get.
So that was very close. I have Blake squeaking out a slight victory.
You gotta give me one.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to.
Just acknowledge it.
I didn't have to, but
You gave him one.
I did, but I didn't have to. It was very, very close. I'm not gonna assist Ian and explain it, but it was close.
We should.
I'm not going to.
Damon, you can if you want.
So we have Scott, Icebox Nemi moving on to the finals
Against Trace.
Left randomly Patchen. We don't know where he went, but whatever. That's it. That's our film episode. I've got nothing. Taylor, you have anything?
Subscribe and like and all
Yes,
that.
yes, all that shit.
And good times for all.
Hey, tune in. We're going to be doing Facebook Live
shaving.
for the finals. The sultry voice of Ben James and Giant Peach Disky will hopefully be back. And it's going to be a different format. It's going to be a best of 5. So one random topic, 2 chosen from each of the finalists. Blake did a great job.
You did.
Taylor producing. Damon hosting. You guys all rock. Titans.
Yep. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Facebook now. We have a
Facebook page, dude. Follow us on Facebook page. We update that all the time.
Yep.
So do it.
Yeah.